Thanks for being here. Subscribe to Cheating Stories Best, so you don't miss new stories.
What would your reaction be if you caught your wife with your lover right in the dance? Unfortunately, this fate befell our main character, so today's story will have a similar plot. Enjoy the show. When she entered the room, there was the instant silence that characterized Professor Wade's class before his arrival. He was a huge, hairy man, and although he was a great teacher, funny and kind, he had a certain don't mess with this man air about him. He wasn't there yet, and the basketball players in the back row were talking too loudly, trying to impress their friends and girls. When I looked around at the sudden silence, thinking that Wade had arrived, I saw something else entirely. She was tall, almost 6 feet, with long, dark hair tinged with pink that hung behind her in soft, heavy waves. Underneath, she wore a t-shirt that read "Thunderbolts and Lightning very, very frightening me" on the front, signed by Galileo and featuring an image of the astronomer. She looked around the room, and one of the idiots in the back row made a comment, "Hey, cutie, we have a chair back here." The look she gave him made him freeze mid-sentence. She walked towards the front, where I always sat to avoid distractions. The chair next to me was empty. The goddess took off her backpack, carefully placed it on the floor, and sat down. As she passed by, I smelled the subtle scent of her perfume. It was Creed Windflowers. I recognized the smell because my sister wore it, and I knew how much it cost. She looked at me, and the dark tan of her skin lit up with a brilliant, dazzling smile. "Hi, I'm Donovan," she said. "Don't call me Donna." I tried to speak, but all that came out of my paralyzed vocal cords was a stupid grunt. She laughed. I swallowed my saliva and tried again. "No, I won't. My name is Shaw," I said. She laughed again, extended her hand, and her long, slender, cool fingers squeezed mine. I couldn't believe how well my day had turned out. Professor Wade walked in at that moment, and she whispered, "Shaw, I need that hand to take notes." I suddenly realized that I was still holding her hand, and it was terribly embarrassing, then suddenly funny, as we laughed together. Wade glanced at us as he put his bag down. "Is everything okay there, Shaw?" I calmed down and said, "Yes, everything is fine." He looked at Donovan and did a double take. "Yes, I see that you're good," he said, and started his lecture. We began a little argument. It was a Western civilization class, and there were about a dozen of us having fun in Wade's classes. To my surprise, Donovan joined us quickly. She was sharp, knew what she was thinking, and wasn't shy about saying it. She used her iPad to take notes and recorded the lecture. As we were putting our things away after class, she asked, "Shaw, aren't you taking notes?" No. "I'm listening," I replied. "You never take notes?" "No, I don't really need them." "Donovan, what's your GPA?" she asked. I laughed. "You really ask a lot of questions, Donovan. Is there any reason you need to know my GPA?" She blushed a little, which did amazing things to her complexion. "Sorry, I just transferred here and I'm looking for study buddies." "It's 3.84, I said. "Why did you get a B?" she asked. It was my turn to be embarrassed. "Well, I hate to tell you this." "How did you know?" "It was just one, I did the math," she said, then laughed. I joined her after a minute. Then she took my hand and led me out. "Stay with me, Tiger," she said. "We'll work on this, I'm really good at it." I could easily believe that. She was the epitome sensuality, screaming in neon letters, "I am a goddess." "Where are we going?" she asked. "Well, this is my last lesson," I said. "I was going to the student union to play ping pong. Every semester there are table tennis tournaments, and I play." "Are you okay?" she asked. "I haven't lost a game in 7 years," I said. "You play?" "Yes," she said. "However, over the past 7 years, I have often played up." "Let's go." "I will be part of your support," she said. Along the way, I learned that her last name was Mace, that her father was an important person at the university, that he had a good humanities department, and that they had moved from San Diego, where she grew up. "Have you lived here all your life?" she asked. "I was born in Portland, but we moved here when I was about 2 years old. My father works for Korean Missile Systems." "What is your main profession?" she asked. "This is electronic engineering," I replied. "I have a higher education in philosophy." With my first dream of human attractiveness shattered, engineering seemed like the only choice. She was laughing. "You have a great sense of humor," she said. She leaned over and whispered confidentially, "You're hot too." I was taken aback by this and desperately searched for a witty reply. She saved me by saying, "I'm a biochemistry major. I want to do banned substances research." "Well, that sounds interesting, and I'm sure you can do it," I said. "Tell me why you don't take notes." "Well, I have a very good memory," I replied. "I tried taking notes, but it just distracted me from the lecture, and I'm better off just listening. If there are things like lists or terms, I get them, but the system doesn't seem to work for me." "Will you study with me?" she asked. "I will do whatever you let me do," I assured her. She smiled at me adoringly, and I decided that if she needed to kill someone, I would be her liaison. I knew the other players in the tournament quite well. We all played and joked together. I think they were a little shocked when I walked in with Donovan on my arm. I introduced her to everyone, and we played to warm up. She was a very good player. I figured she could beat most of the guys in the tournament. She used a shallow grip, and I used a grip I learned from a Chinese roommate I once had. She made me sweat, and it was time for my first game. I won easily, and we had a drink and watched other games. Langford asked Donovan if she wanted to play a game, and I watched as Donovan defeated him in the second round. I met my friend Curtis, who was the second best player in the tournament. It was a shame, actually, because he probably would have made it to the final if he had been lucky in the draw. It was close, as always, when I played him, but I won, as usual. The third game was pretty easy, and I won the $100 prize. Donovan came over and kissed me on the cheek. "Hey, now you can afford to invite me to dinner," she said. "I'd love to take this lady out to dinner," I said. "What time and where would you like me to pick you up?" She gave me her details, and we agreed to have lunch at 7 o'clock, which meant I would pick her up at 6:30. She kissed my cheek again and disappeared, the faint scent of windflowers being the only reminder she left behind. I went home in a daze, unable to think of anything except this glorious woman. I had no idea why she chose me, but apparently, she did. I wasn't a complete failure. I knew I looked normal, and I never had problems dating. I was tall, so even if I was as tall as she was, it wouldn't have been a problem. I'd been involved in sports since the 9th grade, lifting heavy weights and working out my muscles. Maybe she liked that. Anyway, I was seriously amazed and felt like the king of the world. She was gorgeous in school clothes, but dressed for the occasion, she was simply stunning. She wore a cream and brown off-shoulder sweater dress that accentuated her amazing figure and showcased her round fifth point. What in fifth point that was, God, it was driving me crazy. I wanted to follow her just to look at it. She knew what she looked like, but she wasn't as vain as most beautiful women I knew. Still, she showed off what she had. Although I didn't know anyone who looked like her, I helped her into my car. I had one of the new Ford Broncos, a black diamond with a Sasquatch package. It was a little tall, so I got a good view of her incredible, tanned, muscular legs. She settled in, and I walked around the car and climbed inside. "Okay," she said. "Do you have a job, Shaw? How do you afford to do this?" "No work," I said. I had everything ready, but my father intervened. "I told you he works at Rian, and he's a big deal there. He wanted me to focus on my education and be a kid. He offered me any car I wanted, within reason, and this was what I wanted to roam the desert. This baby is the ticket. He also pays my rent and gives me money, again, within reason. I like being a kid." I patted the dashboard. "And you?" "Well, I don't actually have a job, but I get paid for attending social events with my dad. I'm kind of a housewife, and I get paid well." "Oh, your mom doesn't like to talk?" I asked. "I have no idea," she said. "I haven't seen her for about 10 years. "Oh, sorry. I guess I got a little involved," I said. She laughed. "You couldn't have known. My mom and dad are divorced." I lived with my mom until last year, but my dad is still around, and I see him often. They went their separate ways, but they're not enemies or anything like that. Where do you live now? She asked. I have an apartment and a roommate. Keith is a computer geek. He's a good guy, just a little clumsy. I knew she should live with her father because I had picked her up in a nice home. It wasn't a place where a student could live alone. I took her to the grill in Josie and Ad Del Sol. I had reservations, and we arrived on time. Donovan, are you old enough to drink? I asked. She giggled. Yes, I'm 23. What about you? Yes, 24, I said. The food was great, and the company was even better. I should have asked Donovan, are we just going to be study friends, or can I take you on a date? Do you have a boyfriend? She took my hand and squeezed it. No boyfriend. Are you applying for this position? I laughed. Hell yes. I mean, God, Donovan, who wouldn't? She smiled and blushed a little. This is very nice. I'd like to go on dates with you and be friends from school, but I'm not ready for a serious relationship. You know, I'm 23 and about to finish my studies, going to grad school, and starting a career. I'm not ready for something like that. Do you understand? I mean, are you okay with this? Yes, I said. I kind of have the same plans. I was sure I saw her every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday in Wade's classes, and she always made an effort to sit with me. We met at my apartment to study on Thursdays and usually went on dates on Friday and Saturday nights. From time to time, on one of the weekend evenings, she had to attend some university events with her father. I wondered what they were like, but since I wasn't in that circle, I never knew. I met her father, and although I liked him enough and he seemed to treat me well, I knew when I first met him that we would never be close. He was one of those guys who was impressed by his own accomplishments. Everyone called him Dr. Mace, and he was pompous and pretentious. I constantly wondered how such a smug jerk raised a daughter like Donovan. She seemed to love him and get along with him, and he and I put up with each other. She was sometimes difficult to read. We spent quite a lot of time together, but I really knew very little about how she spent her time when we weren't together. It bothered me a little, but when we were together, she was completely devoted to me. When she focused on me, she had an approach that made me feel like I was the only person on earth. There was very little conversation between us about who exactly we were. Were we boyfriend and girlfriend, just friends hanging out, or was there something more? Everyone who knew both of us seemed to be under the impression that we were a couple, but I was curious, so I spoke up about it. Donovan, are you my girlfriend? I asked one day in the car on the way home from the movies. Do you want me to be? She asked. I was out of my mind. Of course, yes. Well, you have to ask if you want to know something, she said. I think I just did. No, you didn't, she insisted. You asked if that was true. If you want me to be your girlfriend, you have to ask me to be your girlfriend. Donovan, will you be my girlfriend? She placed her hand in my free hand. I thought I already was, she said, giving me a sidelong glance. My God, I had to laugh. You are the most infuriating person. She giggled. Yes. You know what a relationship is, right? What? I asked. When you're talking and suddenly find yourself sighing with regret. I mean, you still love them and all, but they just said something so crazy that you regret knowing them. Then they giggle like a crazy gremlin and think about the next totally weird thing they'll say. When you finally respond with a clap, you're crazy, she said. There is something seriously wrong with you, I said. But since I have you in the car, it gives me the opportunity to ask you again. Do you want to be my girlfriend, Donovan? Oh, yes. Can I? I nodded. It's official. What are we going to do now that it's official? She asked. Whatever we want, I said. Can I choose anything? She asked. Your wish is my command. Okay. How long have we known each other, Shaw? Years, I said. She was laughing. No, really. 4 months and 19 days, I said. Wow, Shaw, that's impressive. You know all the dates. That's enough, she said. I want to spend the night with you. Are you serious? I asked. She gave me one of her glances, raising one eyebrow. You haven't even thought about it. Look at me. I am cute. I had to laugh. Yes, I know. You're more than sweet. Donovan, you are the hottest woman I have ever seen. Hell yeah, I thought about it. God, I don't think about anything else, I said. I didn't know you'd want to go there right now. Listen, she said. What the hell am I supposed to do? I spend most of my time with you. I kiss you every time you take me home. Lord, Shaw, I was already starting to think that you're the wrong orientation. I laughed. Well, I don't. You're unlike any girl I've ever met. Donovan, I was going to wait however long it took. You're special to me, and I don't want to do anything to put pressure on you or scare you away. That's so cute, she said. You won't scare me away. I think you're special too. That's why I want to spend the night with you. I think I love you, Shaw. I was stunned. Jesus, does she think she loves me? Well, I was sure that I loved her, and at that moment, I felt like the happiest guy on the planet. Take me home, she said. I need to pack my things and tell Dad. Is it true? Are you going to tell him you'll spend the night with me? I asked. No, I won't talk specifically about you, she said, although he will know. I'll get in your car. I'm a grown woman. I don't need to tell him everything I do, but I do need to tell him that I won't be home. It's just respect. Yes, I agree, I said. Will he be angry with me? I have no idea, she said. I don't care. What about you? Well, I don't want to get kicked out or anything, I said. She was laughing. He won't be so angry. Forget about him. I didn't want to go in and find out how angry he was, so I stayed in the Bronco while she went inside. It took her about 15 minutes. I pulled out my phone and played Van Halen's When It's Love. Donovan walked out with her bag, threw it in the back seat, and closed the door just as the synth ended. Eddie Van Halen hit his guitar, and Sammy Hagar started singing. Oh my God, this is my favorite, she said, reaching out to turn up the volume. We sang along to the classics, and her sweet little voice was the perfect counterpoint. Sing with me, she demanded. I wasn't much of a singer, but I tried my best. We pulled into the driveway and let the song play. When it was over, tears came to her eyes. This is our song, she said. When It's Love. What do you think? Yes, I said. How do you know this is love? It's just what you feel together, she replied. She laughed. I think that's the answer, she said. She leaned forward, her huge eyes so close that it was difficult to focus. Do you feel it? She whispered. I kissed her. I took my bag and headed inside. Keith was at home, playing on his PS5. She screamed when she saw him playing the new game Foretold. How did you get it? She asked. I have sources, he said. She sat next to him and watched while I put her bag in my bedroom. I opened 2 IPAs and joined them. They became friends, and with her, Keith lost his usual paralysis in dealing with women. He actually talked to her, which was rare for him. I need to run to the grocery store, I said. Do you want to come or stay? Stay, Donovan said. Keith can let me play. Do you need anything, Keith? I asked. No, I'm fine, he said. I ran to the store. When I came back, Donovan was playing and giving him instructions. I smiled and started preparing dinner. I could hear them arguing like little children about what to do next. I was almost finished when she came into the kitchen. Smells delicious, she said. What can I do? Pour some wine, I told her. The bottle is breathing. Yell at Keith and tell him 5 minutes. She let him know. He always needed 5 more minutes, but I could hear him saving the game. He listened to Donovan. We ate, and Keith gradually realized that Donovan was staying. When the realization fully dawned on him, he felt a little uneasy and told us that he was going to the local gaming club after this. I'll go to Abe, he said. We'll probably play all night. After all, he had some social skills. Donovan and I relaxed on the couch and watched a horror movie. We spent the night together. She was a goddess. She was younger, healthier, but at the same time, she simply radiated sensuality. I had no idea I would ever have the chance to be with someone like her. What? She asked. God, Donovan, you're so beautiful. Stop it. You're embarrassing me, she said. I just think you have it all. You could be with anyone, I mean anyone. You could make millions just from your looks. She laughed. Thanks, but I'm not interested in just anyone, and I'm never going to use my looks to make money. I want to be loved for myself, not for my looks. She held out her hands to me. I just need you, Shaw. I knelt down next to her. I know what you mean. I only want you to believe me. I love you for who you are. You are smart, funny, caring, warm, but you are also the most beautiful woman I have ever seen. I love every part of you. We rarely parted. She didn't live with me directly. She still left things at her dad's and spent time there, but most of her clothes and personal items now took up space in my closet, drawers, and bathroom. She loved Keith as much as I did, but I felt like we were getting in his way, and he felt the same way. I talked to my father and told him I wanted another place. Are you sure? He asked. I'm sure, I said. Donovan lives with me basically, and we're embarrassing Keith. He met Donovan and fell in love with her. Can you wait a week? He asked. What will happen in a week? Well, you know that I own a rental apartment, he said. The couple who rented it are moving to Seattle. It will be available next week. Let's set up a meeting and take Donovan there to see if she likes it. Hey, am I finally chopped? I asked. He laughed. Look, boy, we both know it's women who matter. You'd live in a tent with her and sleep in the rain if she asked. I had to laugh. When did you become so smart? 5 years ago, you were dumb as a plug. He laughed. I'm still dumb as hell. Ask your mother. I know a thing or two, Dad. How much does it cost to rent this place? I asked. You'll probably have to pay a lot for this, won't it cause you financial difficulties? It's none of your business, he said. Seriously, Shaw, I'm fine. You'll inherit peace when I die. You and your sister will get rich. I told you that I want you to focus on education. Once you get your degrees and find a job, you'll start paying for yourself. It's my job to give you a start in life. I am your father. Don't think I'm not grateful, I told him. I'm grateful. It's just, don't worry about it. Just don't kill me to inherit me, I laughed. I don't know of any assassins yet. I talked to Donovan and told her I was thinking about moving. Where? She asked. I told her I didn't think I knew where it was. She said, I had time to give. I couldn't go. I wrote to my dad, and he agreed with the people who rented the house so that we could go look. As we drove, I saw her looking back. Jesus, Shaw, these are damn good places. Well, I hope you like it, I said. It will definitely be different from my apartment. First of all, there will be no Keith. She giggled. Poor Keith. He loses both his playmates and his roommate. He will feel relieved. He can sit in his boxers and have 3-day-old pizza boxes with 2 slices of pizza to snack on, I said. We pulled up, and her eyes widened. Dad was already there. He came up and opened the door for her. Hi, dear. They're not here, so we can just come in and look around. Oh my God, Oliver, is this the place? She asked, a bit incredulous. He grinned. Yes. I bought this property about 20 years ago and got it for next to nothing. 5 years later, I was sitting on a gold mine. I sold the lots and used the money to build this place. I thought I would live here, but I got the opportunity to buy my own place, and I've been renting it out ever since. We walked to the door, and Dad opened it with his key, stepping aside so we could enter. It was impressive, and I heard Donovan gasp as she took it in. Oliver, are you kidding me? He chuckled. No, of course not. The furniture belongs to them, so you'll have to buy your own. How can we afford it? She wondered. Mother Shaw took care of it, Dad told her. She's engaged in the import and export of furniture. She's been planning his marriage for many years. I happen to know that she has things in storage, things that she purchased, and she always planned for him to have them. But we're not getting married, her voice trailed off. I know, but we'll live together or not, I said. She looked at me helplessly. Not really, Oliver. I still live with my father. I mean, yeah, we kind of live together, but I'm a long way from getting married or committing like that, and I think Shaw is too. I have an idea, I said. What? It came from both of them. Why shouldn't we worry about this? I'm not going to worry about us living together, and I'm not asking for any commitment. Mom doesn't care. It won't be any different from what we have now, except Keith won't be there, and that's a lot more. Donovan gave me one of her dazzling smiles. I like the way you think. I'll look around. Give us a tour, Oliver. He did. I kind of knew the layout. I was there when Dad built the house, but Donovan couldn't walk past the house. I can't believe it, Shaw, she said on the way home. Dad's place on the first floor would fit twice as big, right? Yes, I said. Does this scare you? I guess so. I mean, it's cool that Oliver even thought about it, but damn. We drove up, talked to my mother, and she took us to her warehouse. That was incredible. There was a bunch of stuff under blankets, and when she started to pull the blankets off, Donovan was over the moon. Lord, Lydia, where did you get all this? Mom laughed. Mostly South America, she said. Some are from Africa and Asia, and a few from Eastern Europe. It's not as expensive as you might think. I've been going to shows for years, and if I see something that I think is unique and special, I take it. It's not all yours. Part of it belongs to Toyne. Well, I like it, Donovan said. Mom hugged me. Shaw, will you trust me to decorate this place? She does this kind of stuff professionally, so yeah, you know more about this than me or Donovan, I said, with a triumphant smile on my face. Okay then, it's decided. The next week, the tenants left, and my mother went to work. A week later, she told me that everything was ready. We met her and Dad for dinner, and they took us to evaluate what they had done. Mom and Dad were not hostile to each other. They were actually friends, and I always thought they loved each other, they just had different lives. It was nice to see them together. After a while, Toyne appeared, and we celebrated with champagne. Hey, sis, I walked over to hug her. She and Donovan were friends and hung out together for a while. Hello, Bab, that's what she called me since she was very little. I thought we should celebrate and have a housewarming party. Mom came over with champagne glasses, and we made a toast. The place looked great. The furniture was a little sparse, but I figured we'd fill it up as soon as we found the time and money, of course. It was fun. Father Donovan came, and he had an absolutely disgusting dish for our dinner table. I pretended to admire it, but damn, the thought of eating next to a stalking tiger that looked like it was about to pounce on me was too much. I appreciate this gesture, he said. He got up, and Donovan took him on a tour. I think he was impressed despite himself. Keith borrowed his dad's truck and trailer and drove up with our boxes of stuff. Even Dr. May got his hands dirty helping us carry boxes to their respective rooms. We put everything roughly where it needed to be, and everyone left, leaving Donovan and me a little awkward and completely alone in our new place. It didn't last long. She invited me into the shower. I was always ready for this. Our agreement had not changed. 6 nights out of 7, Donovan was with me. Every day when classes ended, we were together. About once a week, she spent the night with her father. We both applied and were accepted into graduate school and were in our final semester. I was going into the aerospace program, and she was going into bioengineering. We were both a little anxious thinking about money and work. Mom and Dad put money into my account, and Donovan made some money hosting at the university, but neither of us were truly satisfied with what we were doing. I was looking into internships, and she started increasing the number of events she was doing. One of the IT specialists working in our office happened to mention a university fundraiser. I was half listening when he said, "There was the hottest girl I've ever seen." This caught my attention. "Oh yes?" I asked, supportive. Yeah, she looked like a university student or something, but I'd never seen her before. "You won't believe it," he continued. "Graduates lined up to dance with her. I would have just liked to dance with her and take her home. I'd die a happy man." "Did anyone take her home?" I asked. "I don't know. There were many attempts," he said. This made my antenna go up. I decided to ask Donovan what was going on without seeming too concerned. She was working at an event that evening. "Hey, Donovan, I've never asked you this before, but what exactly are you doing at the event?" "Well, it depends on the event," she said. "Sometimes it's like a dinner party, and we just have to communicate. I'm really just here to make sure everything is going smoothly, the caterers are doing their jobs, I'm hanging out with Dad, chatting with donors and alumni, and introducing people." "Sounds terrible," I said. She laughed. "It's not fun, I promise. It's work, Shaw. This isn't supposed to be fun. Most people are around Dad's age, but I have to look and act like the person I'm talking to is the most interesting person on the planet." "Oh my God, I had no idea. Are they all like this?" I asked. No. Sometimes there are bands, orchestras, dinner, and then dancing," she said. "What will it be tonight?" She turned away from the mirror where she was applying makeup to her eyes. "What happened, Shaw? Are you giving me the third degree here?" I laughed. "No, I was just curious. I have no idea why, I just asked." She turned back to the mirror. "It's just a job," she said. "Boring. You wouldn't like it." I walked away and was scrolling through TikTok when she came over and kissed me. She went to the kitchen and came out with a bottle of water. "See you in a couple of hours," she said, kissing me again before disappearing. I turned on the TV and watched some boxing. I couldn't get a conversation with the IT specialist, so I got up to grab a beer. Walking into the kitchen, I noticed Donovan's phone on the counter. Apparently, she put it down to get a water bottle and forgot it. I wondered if she would want it. I thought it might be important in case she needed anything, like if her car broke down or something, so I decided to take it to her. It would also give me a reason to be there, though not a very compelling one. The event was held at Lodge on the Desert, and I kind of knew the place. I had been there once or twice. When I walked inside, it appeared that almost the entire venue was booked for the event, at least the event rooms. I looked around but saw no sign of Donovan. There was music coming from the palm room, so I popped in for a quick look. They had a small band playing jazz, and about 50 couples were dancing. There would have been twice as many on the lawn. It was a big party. One of the employees came over with a tray of champagne glasses and offered me one. "No thanks," I said. "Tell me, do you know any of the guests?" "Some," he said. "The university uses the halls quite often for events." "Do you know who Donovan is?" I asked. "Yes, Dr. Ma's daughter," he said. "Did you happen to see her around?" "Yes," he said, pointing to the other side of the room. "Isn't that her?" I moved so that I could see where he was pointing. It was her. She was dancing against the wall with someone I recognized. He was a Heisman Trophy candidate at quarterback a few years ago and had a short NFL career, another graduate. "Thanks, man," I said, and started walking around the room, spinning around so as not to disturb the dancers. As I got closer, I became more and more worried with every step. I expected her to dance with me, but not with anyone else. He held her too close. I stopped, stunned, and watched for maybe a minute. I was angry, incredibly hurt, and in shock all at the same time. What did she do at these events? I wondered. Well, to hell with it. I shook off my frozen status and walked up to them. Her eyes were closed when I approached, and her partner, seeing me and perhaps noticing the expression on my face, turned half away from me. "Don't worry, dude," I said. "I'm just here to deliver her phone." Her eyes widened when she heard my voice. Her mouth dropped open in the shape of a cute little Cheerio. I shoved the phone into her hand. As I was leaving, I heard it fall to the floor, and she shouted after me, "Shaw." I walked out the door, headed to my car, started it, and drove away. I saw her at the entrance looking for me, and she noticed me as I drove out onto the street. She took a step forward, and I saw her mouth move, then she turned the corner. I drove along, almost not realizing where I was. My brain seemed unable to think. I felt like a robot. I stopped at a traffic light and suddenly became angry, an explosion of rage. I screamed and slammed my fist on the steering wheel. I was vaguely aware that something was trying to reach my consciousness and realized it was my phone vibrating in the passenger seat. I looked at it. It was her. My screen said Dark Enchantress. I didn't feel enchanted at all. I threw it back on the seat. Now I needed to figure out where I was going. I didn't want to go home. She would come there, and I had no time for her. I pulled into a Circle K, went inside, and bought a large Dr. Pepper in a styrofoam cup. I sat down and drank absent-mindedly. Suddenly, I understood. I drove home, packed up my camping gear, and left. I stopped at the supermarket, filled my refrigerator with food and drinks, packed them with ice, and drove on. One of my favorite places on the planet is Pooch Ridge Wilderness. I hadn't been to half the places I wanted to go, and I was getting ready to dive into the wild to clear my head and figure out what to do. I decided to let my parents know I was safe and would not be available, so I sent them a message while still in signal range. My father answered, "Okay, have fun." I parked in the lot, found a nice camp spot about a quarter of a mile away, and found a ranger to let him know where I would be camping. I set up my tent, arranged the area the way I wanted, lit a small fire, and took a sip of the tequila I bought at the store. My head was spinning with a million thoughts. Was this what I saw normal for Donovan at these events? Was she doing anything else? What I saw didn't pass my girlfriend's test, but what else does she do? This occurred to me when she said she was staying with her father after the event. Was she really staying with him, or was it a convenient lie to keep me in the dark? I didn't know, and the only way to find out was to ask her. But would she lie? I didn't think she'd ever lied to me, and the Donovan I knew didn't seem like a liar. But I never imagined I'd see her dancing on some guy's leg. I felt like a robot without a compass. I was tormented by the tequila and fell into a restless sleep, having nightmares about Donovan doing something and hiding it from me. The next morning, I had a bit of a hangover, but breakfast and a couple of ibuprofen soon fixed that. I packed my backpack and headed down the trail. It was beautiful, cool at the top, and when I went down into the canyon, it was hot enough that when I jumped into the stream, it felt wonderful. I pulled out my wild cleaners and washed myself in the stream. That night was a repeat of the previous one, and I gained no clarity about anything. The next day, I headed toward Mount Lemon, climbed up a rock ledge, and occupied my mind. It was almost dark when I returned, and as soon as I entered the small space, there sat Donovan on a rock, her hands bowed down and seemingly crying. I must have made some noise because she looked up and saw me. She jumped to her feet and ran across the camp, rushing at me and almost knocking me off my feet. "Damn you, Shaw," she screamed in my face, then hugged me like an anaconda before yelling again, "What the hell is wrong with you? You can't just run away. You can't just throw me away." She beat my chest with her fists. "I needed to talk," I said. "Why did you do that? How did you find me?" "Your father told me you were here," she screamed. I got scared and made him tell me. "When I came here, the ranger told me where you were, but you weren't here." She burst into tears and clung to me again, burying her face in my chest. "Where have you been?" "I was on a hike," I said. "I didn't want to see you, Donovan. That's why I came here." "This," she screamed. "I needed to see you." "Why are you not here?" I said. "Stop yelling. Let me light the fire. I'm hungry." "You're hungry." She pressed herself against me for another minute, trying to pull herself together. "No, and I'm not hungry. I haven't been able to eat for 2 days." "Why do you stop?" I said. "I won't go into details until you pull yourself together and learn to speak like a reasonable person." Now, I'll cook something to eat. You'll eat it with me. We'll have time to have a drink, sit by the fire, and talk, okay? She snorted, wiped her eyes, and nodded. Fine. I fried bacon and we had bacon and eggs. She picked at the food at first, then ate it greedily, cooking herself 2 more eggs and some more bacon. I think I was hungrier than I thought, she said. I can imagine if you didn't eat for 2 days, I said. I couldn't eat, she said. I felt sick to my stomach all the time. I didn't know what to say to her, so I remained silent. Well, I didn't plan for 2, I said. I'm going to run out of food very quickly. I'll take more, she said. We finished eating, and I pulled out a bottle of tequila and poured a couple of fingers into a tin cup, pouring some for myself. There was a large flat stone by the fire, so I walked over and sat on it. She came and stood in front of me. Step back, she said. I did so. It was awkward, so I started, Donovan, let me talk. She said, then you can go. Okay, I said. Don't tell me any details, Donovan. I'm not in the mood. I won't, she said. First of all, I want to tell you, Shaw, I have never been with anyone but you since the day I met you. She leaned back and looked at me. Do you believe me? She sensed my hesitation, and her eyes filled with tears. You don't believe me, do you? I'm not saying I don't believe you, I said. I did not say that. Let's just say I believe you temporarily. What does that mean? There was a little heat in her voice. It means I accept what you said, and I want to hear what else you have to say, I told her. Whatever you say may make me come back and say I don't believe you, or it may make me come back and say I absolutely believe you. If you don't believe me, then I don't think I have anything to say, she said bitterly. What's the point? It's up to you, I said. She stood up and walked to the edge of the circle of light, then stopped and looked back. I'm so sorry, Shaw. I love you and thought you were the one. I can't be with someone who doesn't trust me. I trusted you, I said. It was you who created the doubt. She bowed her head, seemingly defeated, and disappeared into the growing darkness. I stayed in the desert for 5 days and then went home. I could tell she left immediately. All the little things she had, the pictures, the lace fabric things, the chargers she always left in sockets around the house were gone. Her clothes, all her books and papers, the cosmetics that were always on her dressing tables and dressers, everything was gone. God, that was depressing. You can't be with someone for 2 years and not feel like a part of you left when they did. I didn't feel guilty about it, but it didn't make the house any less lonely. I was willing to listen to her, but I couldn't just act blindly when I had other evidence telling me that things were different than I thought. I existed in some kind of limbo. I did everything I did before she came into my life like a bomb, but it all seemed a little empty. It was as if my world was painted in vibrant colors, and suddenly everything became shades of gray. I saw something, heard something, did something, and thought Donovan would like it. Then I realized that there was no Donovan. It was damn depressing. The only things that kept me sane were school, my family, and my little sister. I have always been close to my little sister, and we have become even closer. She constantly communicated with me. I knew she was close friends with Donovan, but she never mentioned a word. I could tell Dad was disappointed with how things turned out, but Mom was much more straightforward. Shaw, you're an idiot, she told me about a week after Donovan left. No doubt. But is there any particular idiocy you have in mind? I asked. This girl loves you, she said. I had lunch with her. Shaw, it's not what you think, but she's not going to ask. It's not in her nature. You allow something that is important but doesn't really matter to ruin something beautiful in your life. You need to fix this. Why do I need to fix this? I asked. I wasn't the one who broke this relationship. I'm not saying you're to blame, or at least mostly to blame, she said. I'm telling you it's worth fixing, even if you have to take the first step. I know you want the best for me, Mom, I told her. Yes, I know. I won't mention it anymore. I got the paid internship I was hoping for at Honeywell. It wasn't a lot of money, but it was more than I'd ever had, and they liked me. 6 months later, I received a job offer while completing my master's degree. We went to the same school and in the same buildings, so I saw Donovan from time to time, mostly from afar. If she noticed me, she would wave, and I would always smile at her and give her a thumbs up. Mom and Tobin very discreetly informed me that Donovan was no longer working for her father as a housewife. She was interning at New Vox, working on some kind of specialized oxygen delivery system. Fine, I was proud of her. We didn't talk, but I saw her nearby every time I did. I realized how much I missed her, and it felt like I was in constant pain. 18 months passed, and the first time we really talked was at graduation. There were just over 100 of us studying engineering, and I was sitting in my chair when someone sat down next to me. I turned around and saw Donovan. God, she still took my breath away. If anything, she was even more impressive than the day we met. She gave me a sparkling smile. Hi, Shaw. Congratulations, you did it. You too, I said. Thank you, and congratulations. Did this internship turn into a job offer? They offered me a job, she said. I refused them. Protein Technologies made me a better offer, and this is a much more complex area of activity. What about you? We'll stick with Honeywell, I said. The ceremony started, and we couldn't talk anymore. I left later and saw her one more time before it ended. She came and sat next to me again. This one was damn long and equally boring, but when it was over, we were both back in our chairs. Mom, Dad, and Toyn were there, surrounding us both and congratulating us. Dad insisted on inviting us all to dinner. Donovan arched an eyebrow questioningly. I nodded as non-intrusively as possible. We had a great time, got a little tipsy after drinking 3 bottles of wine between us, and Donovan said she had to go. I need to walk a little before I go, she said. Shaw, are you coming? I wasn't quite ready to drive either, so I agreed. We were close to campus, so we walked there together. It was awkward. We made a few inane comments. She stopped by the fountain, sat down on a bench, and patted the seat next to her. I sat down nervously. She was laughing, feeling a little trembling. Big boy, she said. I chuckled. Yes, a little, I think. I won't eat you, she said. I looked at her doubtfully. Are you sure? I would like to, she said. I have a feeling you're going to be pretty hard to chew at the moment. Is this a metaphor? I asked. She nodded. Yes. God, you're a stubborn man, Shaw, she said. I chuckled. Yes, I've heard that. Do you mean some specific stubbornness or just a general indictment of my character? She smiled. Both. Do you miss me, Shaw? Every damn day, I said. I miss you, she said. Oh my God, Shaw, you were my best friend. We were friends before. You know, you were my best friend. We hung out all the time. I miss my friend. And you. Yes, I assured her. Then why the hell didn't you call me? Didn't make the slightest attempt to talk to me. I could ask you the same thing, I said. Shaw, I tried. I stalked you, tried to throw myself at your feet. It didn't end well, and I felt awkward calling you, trying to talk to you. Okay, can you tell me why you felt awkward? I asked. Well, I felt like I let you down. I felt like I let myself down. I know I hid something from you. Like what? You did at those university events? Yes. There was an awkward silence. I wonder if you understood my feelings when I walked in. I'd like to talk about it, but there's a little problem, she said. Okay, what's the problem? Do you think I will lie to you? She asked. Do you really believe this? Look at me, Shaw. I turned slightly and looked into those huge brown eyes. Tears floated in them. The setting sun turned them honey golden. I knew she wouldn't lie. It's not that I think you'll tell me an outright lie, I said. However, I have a little story. Can you leave out some things that might not represent you in the light of the forest? You did it, Donovan. I never had a single doubt about you. I never would. I have to tell you, I haven't been completely honest with you, or even with myself. I told her about the conversation I had with my colleague. Oh my God. Why didn't you say anything? Well, I would look paranoid. I was embarrassed. I thought it would make you angry, and I felt that you would be right to be angry. So when I saw that you forgot your phone, I used it as an excuse to leave. I didn't expect to find. I didn't finish the thought, and she sat there for a minute, obviously thinking about what to say. I had one more thought. When you asked me if I think you would lie to me, no, I don't think you would. My problem is that I never doubted you for a second, but I never had the slightest idea what your role was in these matters and events. But you never told me. It wasn't entirely a lie, but it wasn't entirely true either. I still don't know. She bit her lip, and I could see her hands shaking as she clasped them together. She sighed. I won't miss anything. I won't lie. I'll tell you everything. Do you want to do it here? What do you suggest? I asked. All I want is my best friend back, she said. Whether we are lovers or not, it will happen or not. Can we hang out like we used to? I want to come to your home, just hang out, talk to you, be with you. I want to tell you everything, but I'd like it to be in an organic setting. Can I come tomorrow and bring dinner? Yes, I'm fine with that, I said. Donovan? What? She looked at me. I just wanted you to know that I missed you. I thought I was a fool. I would do anything for you to ignore all this crap, move to a hut in the desert. I love you. She immediately hugged me. No, Shaw, you shouldn't feel this way. I would do anything to be with you. I know this, but I need to make it clear. Do it right. Let's do this, I said. She pulled me up, and I walked her to the car. I opened the door for her, and she turned and looked at me from under her incredibly long and thick eyelashes. Shaw, can I give the key back? I laughed, pulled the keys out of my pocket, and gave her the house key. Do you remember the security code? Yes, she said. See you tomorrow evening, I said. She stood on her tiptoes, quickly kissed me, and disappeared. When I got home from work, I stopped and bought her favorite Cabernet, cheesecake, and a yellow rose. Her car was parked in the driveway, and the smell of cooking filled the house. It smelled amazing. The garlic and oregano created a real aroma. I went in, put my bag away, and then went to the kitchen. I knew she knew I was there. She would have heard me disabling the security system, but she was busy. She took my breath away. She was wearing a small yellow dress, her hair pulled back into a messy bun that showed off her graceful neck, and her shoulders were bare. The dress barely covered her fantastic fifth point, and she wore strappy platform sandals that showed off a mile of gorgeous legs. I sat down next to her, hugged her, brought the rose I had, and pressed it to her cheek. She looked up and back a little shyly and gave me a small smile. Hi, Shaw. The rose is beautiful. Dinner will be ready in 30 minutes. Do you need to clean up? Hey, beautiful, I said. Yeah, let me take a quick shower. By the way, it smells very tasty. I hugged her and went to clean up. Dinner was as delicious as it smelled, but a little awkward. We talked about nonsense, and when we finished, I cleaned up while she poured the wine and took our glasses to the sofa. I sat down next to her, and she snuggled close to me. I hugged her. She sighed. It's so nice. God, I miss this. Just the opportunity to touch you, talk to you, knowing what you want me to. I said, I've always wanted this. I was miserable. Me too, she said. The only question is, will we remain unhappy? I'm open to suggestions on how to avoid this, I said. Do you have any suggestions? Maybe, she said. And you? Yes, I'll tell you everything. Perhaps you won't like something. I put my feet on the ottoman, and she leaned back, resting her head on my arm behind her and putting her feet on top of mine. I remembered that this was one of her favorite things to do. Shoot, I said. First of all, I have to tell you that I'm not going to lie or hide anything. Okay, she said. I nodded. I believe you. Fine, Shaw. When I was about 18, I started working as a hostess at university fundraising events where my dad was an administrator. The university needed donations from alumni. You know that, right? I don't know much about it, I said. I know these things happen, but I have no idea how much of the university's budget comes from tuition and state funding and things like that, and how much comes from donations. 7% of the university's budget comes from endowments, she said. It doesn't sound like much, but it's a $123 billion budget. Wow, I had no idea. Most people don't. Either way, fundraising is a big deal. I understand. My job was to make sure the fundraising went smoothly. I tried to get people to write checks. I didn't think you were doing anything wrong, I said. No, that's not true. I swear to you, Shaw. Dancing is all I ever did. Okay, I said. It was some dirty dancing, and God, this is humiliating. I kind of led some donors to believe that there was a possibility of more. I feel like a hoe telling you this, but I swear it will never happen again. It meant nothing more to me than impressing them. Well, it's kind of unpleasant, I admitted. Yes, it is, she said. I never really thought about it, Shaw. I swear, until I looked up and saw the look on your face. Now I have to doubt what you say. I don't think you're being honest with me. If you never thought about it, why did you let me believe that you were just babysitting the waiters? She sighed. I wouldn't be honest with you, she said. She was silent for a minute. I think I wasn't honest with myself. I didn't tell you because I was lying to myself, telling myself that I was doing a good job helping my father, earning money for the university. I think I knew it was shady, so I hid it from myself and from you. I nodded. Yes, I understand. I try to hide my shortcomings from people, including myself. I quit doing it that night. Shaw, I'm not very proud of myself for ever going beyond minding the waitstaff, as you put it. When that dude you worked with told you this story, why didn't you come face to face with me and tell me about it? She asked. It's not easy, I said. I'm in love with you. I told myself I was paranoid, crazy. You can't do anything wrong in my eyes. God, you were perfect. I wanted to punch this guy for making me think you might be doing some shady stuff. Suddenly, she began to sob with all her heart. Melancholy convulsed her, and I wrapped my arms around her, pulling her close. She released her sorrow, and this went on for about an hour. My emotions were almost as intense as hers. I'm sorry I wasn't perfect, she finally managed to say. I'm sorry that I destroyed that image of myself in your mind. Damn, Donovan, I'm far from perfect myself. I was a fool. I don't like what happened, however, I was stupid, and you were a little better. We let it almost destroy something beautiful. Trust me, I still think you're perfect. You're human, that's all. People do stupid things. Not a single book or movie would ever be written if that weren't true. I know, she whispered. I felt so bad without you, Shaw. What can I do to get back? What can we do? What are we doing? I said I was an idiot not to do this a few months ago, I said. I'm not very good at confrontation. I need to work on this. Me too, she said. I was an even bigger idiot. You have no idea how many times I dialed your number but did not press the call button. I watched our text conversations just to hear your voice in my head. I squeezed her. Well, we'll have millions of conversations in person, she said, letting out a watery laugh. Either way, I'll save the messages. It was a bump in the road, but we resumed the friendship we had before. We made love for the first time, walking slowly down the road, constantly going out, hanging out together, and that easy intimacy returned. I was a little wary, knowing that I didn't know everything, but she tried to overcome my hesitation. She was as intoxicating as ever. The dizziness of just being in her company felt like someone was slowly casting a spell on me. The feeling of euphoria that came over me was overwhelming, and she was the same provocative, sweet, and gentle girl I met on my first day in Professor Wade's class. Our work was successful, although we both spent more time at work than we wanted. She returned to our house, this time without any reservations and without leaving any of her stuff with her father. 18 months after she returned, I knelt in a very nice restaurant, put a ring on her finger, and asked her to marry me. She squealed and danced to the applause of our colleagues. "Oh my God, yes," she squealed. "I want to marry you so bad, Shaw." She grew serious and sat down again, admiring her ring. "I want a long engagement," she said. "I don't want you to just fall in love with me. I mean, I want that, but I want you to trust me like a rock. And I'm still working on it." "Okay, if you want a long-term engagement, that's fine with me, but not for that reason," I said. "Donovan, I trust you like a rock, just like you said. I think I've always trusted you." I was thinking about some weird stuff, but I guess I always knew what 6 months sounded like. "I think 18 months, she said. We agreed on a year. 8 years later, we have 2 tiny Donovan clones, one is 4, and the other is 2. We bought a house from my dad, and now I come home every day and see 2 tiny girls waiting for Dad on the porch. Their mother will arrive in a minute, and I know that the sight of her will take my breath away, just like the first time I saw her. The girls and I were sitting in a restaurant. It was crowded and loud. There was a moment of silence amid the raucous noise. I turned and looked at the door, knowing what caused it. And there she was. She walked over to our booth, and when she sat down, the conversation resumed. She kissed me and turned to the girls. "Are mommy's babies having a wonderful day?" All was right with the world. When it's love, everything is always right. What do you think of this story? I don't think you should have put up with a woman like that. He who betrays once will betray twice. But you can tell me in the comments if Shaw did the right thing. Thanks for sticking with us. See you in the future.